Good morning. My name is Ryan Littlestone from forexflow.live. Here we are at a new week and into the same old themes as we left the last week. We had Trump on late on Friday with this press conference that he built up during the day on China. And in the end, it wasn't too extreme as some of the market might have expected. And that sort of brought a bit of a relief rally in risk trades. Now, what we were looking at last week is a continuing theme of reopening and then these US-China trade worries. And one of the pairs I've been looking at for that, particularly on the reopening side, was dollar versus the Mexican peso. Now, as we can see from the 4-hour chart that we've got here today, we had a big drop down from the sort of 24 area, one that I was riding short. And I actually took my final profit on the position at 22.05 late last week. That was because we've seen a big move down. One of the reasons why I took profit because I was cutting the trade as we went, but it wasn't that big a position. So I ran out of slices to cut, if you like. So I took a final position, took a final profit at 22.05 to end the trade there. And we've sort of been floating around the 22 handle since then. Now, what I want to look for in this pair is any rallies back up to sort of the 23.30, even up to 24, ready to do the same short again, but we need to see what the news is. The trade that time was based on the fact that Mexico was reopening fairly quickly. Tensions have been easing there. And, you know, that was one of the trades, one of the pairs, the currencies that have been, really hit over the virus. So I was looking for some retracement of that, which we got. So from here, it's a bit of a mixed picture. We're sort of in the middle. We're pretty much in the middle, as you can see from the 50 fib there. So whether we now tread water or turn back higher or head back lower will depend on the news. So part of that news is obviously what's going on between the US and China, because that's affecting risk overall, and that can drive some of these pairs as well. So another trade I'm looking at coming back into the mix for June particularly is Brexit. As if we didn't need any more in the mix. Brexit's going to be coming back into June. So the pound is a trade that I'm going to be looking at again for the Brexit. Now, what's happening is at the end of June, we've got this sort of deadline where the UK is going to need to announce whether it's going to extend or not. And all signs at the moment seem to think that there's not going to be an extension, particularly from the UK side. They're saying they're not going to extend. The deadline is at the end of December 2020 for the end of Brexit and when the UK leaves. So right now, both trading teams are sort of at loggerheads. The news isn't good. There's very little progress being made. Both sides are standing their ground on their negotiation tactics. So one of the pairs I'm looking at here is cable, which is the pound versus the dollar. Again, looking at the 4-hour chart because it gives a nice overview of the long-term picture as well as the short-term picture. And we've seen a big rally going on from when we hit the 120s. And it's carried on all the way up. This is twofold. This is partly due to what's happening in the US, but also the UK's reopening as well. So again, these early steps forward where the country's reopening, and we want to see whether that's going to continue. But I really fear for the pound as we head into June because of these Brexit negotiations. It's the same as all the other negotiation periods that we've had before. It's loggerheads, it's fighting, if you like. Nothing gets sorted, then perhaps on the 11th hour, bang, something comes together and we get a move. The only thing that's different this time to the prior couple of years where we've gone through this is that it's a different negotiating team. Theresa May's gone, all those other Brexit ministers are gone, and we've got something under Boris that seems pretty staunch and pretty tight. So we're not getting a lot of finer details, if you like, and the lines are being drawn, and they're being drawn very hard. So we'll have to see how this plays out. But this is a pair that I'm looking at. Play probably from the short side if we get up into some of those big levels up towards 126, 127. See how it goes. And we'll see what the negotiations bring. But from there on, I wish you luck this week.